What's up, humans? My name is Brie Pear. I am the founder of Only Human, and today we have an incredible experience lined up for you. We welcome Tyler Sjostrom, who is an incredible artist, and I have had the amazing pleasure of seeing Tyler perform live. So I know the music in store is really going to set the tone for this conversation. So as a lot of people may know, today is World Suicide Prevention Day, and suicide is a topic that we talk about often. We believe mental health should be at the forefront of conversation right now, especially in a year that's driven us so far apart. We have quite a few resources to help people through these hard times, or anyone who is in crisis. So if you go to onlyhumanco.com/resources, we can offer a free month of professional counseling and a free month of an app for mindfulness and meditation. So tonight you are going to experience a concert by Tyler, and then followed up by a mental health discussion featuring Dan Greenspun, who is a clinical psychologist and who we're really excited to have. We also want to thank Sounds of Saving, who is our nonprofit partner of the month, and they've been an incredible partner and have an even more incredible mission of bringing hope to people through music. So that's what we hope to achieve here tonight as part of our annual Stay campaign. And this year it is all about how life sounds better with you in it. So without further ado, here's Tyler.
Hey, everybody. If money talks, I ain't saying a word. If flowers line sidewalks, I'll take the dirt. It's getting colder every day. Likely winter will stick to stay. And though I think I ought to run, it's easier said than done. What am I to do if I ain't made for you? And how am I to breathe if you ain't laying next to me? Mezcal and whiskey brewing me. Cigarettes and cheap looks, bottles empty. And I don't deserve a dime, not a single brag. You kept your cool, paid what was on the tag. But what am I to do if I ain't made for you? And how am I to breathe if you ain't laying next to me? And moving in the dark has never spit a spark. Follow down cold has been the girl. But when you're holding on, Hold me where I go. I go. I go. Whew. All right, I think my video's gone. Let me try to get back up to you folks. 1 second here. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry, technical difficulties, you know? All right, I think I'm back. Sorry about everybody. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. All right, hopefully we're back. I think we're back. We'll get an okay from somebody at some point. Thanks for listening. That first song was called Hallowed Ground. This next one is called Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Make sure everything's operating all right here. All right. Oh, to find me drunk is cliche. I've perfected the drunken stupor these days. Oh, how could I fathom? Oh, how could I believe that I could earn a heart that I could deceive? No, my eyes been red in my drowsy head, and it's just enough to feed me. La di da di da di da di da di da. La di da di da di da di da di da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Cursed be the feet that take me to the place where love seems easy. Oh, how could I fathom? Oh, how could I believe that I could earn a heart that I could deceive? No, my eyes burn red in my drowsy head, and it's just enough to keep me. I line my throat with gold and let the words spew out. It sounds clever to me, the sound witty, no doubt. It's in my bones, it's in my blood, you know. It won't kill my body, it'll kill my soul. I line my throat with gold and let the words spew out. It sounds pretty to me, it'll sound pretty, no doubt. It's in my bones, it's in my blood, you know. It won't kill my body, it'll kill my soul. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Thanks for listening, guys. Hey, Dan.
Hi. That was incredible.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Some slight technical difficulties, but you know, that'll happen.
Yeah. You can hear me okay.
I can hear you just fine.
Great. Lots of soul in your music. We had a chance to become acquainted earlier, so I know a little bit of your backstory. But it felt really meaningful to hear you sing, especially given what you've told me about yourself and a little bit about your story. And I thought it might be, especially given how much soul is in your music and the importance of making meaning of our experience and creating narrative. But like that there's something so visceral about music and your music especially
Hmm.
that really feels like it maps onto so much of what you shared about yourself with me. And I wonder if you could share a little bit with everybody else, um, so that they might be able to have the same opportunity to understand the importance of music to you and your
Yeah.
experience and how you make meaning of things.
Right, absolutely. Uh, well, I'll speak to creating music first, since that's what I'm kind of displaying to here today. Um, for me, and you'll hear this from most musicians, artists, their medium, music in this fashion, is an expression of what's inside that needs to come out. I sometimes call it cognitive vomit. And it's like my brain is just throwing up on the guitar or throwing up on the microphone. And it's all these things that are inside my head and my heart and my soul, whatever you believe, spirit, um, that just need to come out. These things that, especially for me, I historically have just had and still struggle just with expressing myself. Um, just expressing those either the deep dark thoughts or even the simple ones that I just have a hard time bringing about, even with really close loved ones who I know love me dearly and could it would if I said anything, it would never matter
Mm.
how horrible it was that I said it, they would still love me. So music had always been a place for me to get all that gunk out, whether it be good gunk or a bad gunk, that's like clogging me up. Um, it's been a way to express what's happening on the inside, because we people only get to see the surface level of me, so that's what they generally see. So with music, they're seeing a whole different side of me, maybe the more real me, or something of that nature, but something that would not have come out in just like a day-to-day talk or small talk. And it's very therapeutic, honestly. And I think you'll kind of hear that from any musician that really puts their heart and soul into it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's really kind of like what I was alluding to. There's so much soul there. It's like you're digging down deep and communicating and reaching in. It's not just the
Yeah.
words, it's how you're singing them, it's how the melody is.
Right.
It's just so transparent, and I feel like I was pulled into the process with you. Like it was very transformative, which is, what I
Mm.
imagine, that music becomes this opportunity not just for the musician, the singer, but also the audience
Mm.
to share an experience and to also make their own meaning and connect with you in this really interesting way. And you even said something in our earlier talk about how it's like art. It's like whatever you intended, whatever the lyrics mean to you, we're all projecting
Hmm.
onto your words and your meaning our own, but somehow there's overlap there.
Hmm.
And so I'm just curious a little bit more if you could share anything about that, or how music has touched you in that way, maybe songs that you heard when you first knew that music was a way for you to get inside something that you had trouble accessing but really needed to come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all of us have like a particular song or a particular album that we listen to of either our favorite artist or maybe not even our favorite artist. I think in our conversation that we had, kind of a precursor last week, um, I had alluded to an artist named Trevor Hall,
Right.
who I despised for years, and it was my wife's favorite artist, and I heard his voice. I'm like, he's just such a fake voice, and the words sound so hokey, and lyrics are just like this spiritual gibberish that anyone can attach to. But in that same, anyone can attach to, and that's the kind of the beauty of it at the same time. And it wasn't until a little bit later in my relationship with my wife that I started to like secretly listen to him and was like, oh man, there's something going on here. Like, and there's something going on within me when I listen, especially when I'm listening, and I'm my day is really rough. I'm having like maybe like a metaphysical or issues in my brain, in my psyche or whatever, that I'm feeling really weighed down when I listen to, I forget the album, Chapter of the Forest, I think is the album. And everything would kind of just like melt off of me. And I would feel this sense of just calm and just knowing that everything, like these petty, I shouldn't say petty, because, you know, some things they have some depth to them, but like everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And it's amazing how music can do that for you. Yeah, I don't know, that's definitely a current artist and a current like album and music that I never would have thought that I would publicly say I like him. But he really is a great artist, and the music is, the lyrics are just, they're profound in their simplicity, honestly, and that's what's great about music is, you know, he might be going through something completely different from what I'm attaching to that song. And that's great that, you know, if I have a song, which I've had many songs that I'll play at a show, or I'll have it on an album, and someone will reach out and be like, man, I'm going through this is what's been going on in my life. And this is what this song's about. And I'm like, wow, I wrote that song in the basement when I was like drinking a few tequilas, and, you know, just this stuff came out, and had no intention of it being, you know, this story of yours. But that connection, it's just human. It's just a human thing that we do. And it's beautiful. And when the struggle is to just as an artist to be able to just say, okay, I'm going to put something out there. I'm going to put it out there, and it might be crap. It might be the worst thing ever. But when one person connects to it and one person can be like, this is what it means to me, that makes it completely worth it to just keep putting stuff out there so people can connect and people can find a meaning and meaningfulness in it.
Yeah. So there's something akin to like a writer's block or a songwriter's block there. But that there's, I was wondering if you could share a little bit about that process, and maybe even imagining that it's not disconnected from some of the darker experience that is part of being alive and being a human, that is somehow in your music and then gets transformed into something else in the process of writing and singing it. You know, as much as you feel comfortable sort of sharing about that experience, because I would imagine there's a lot of people, you know, that even being able to talk about it and put it out there in words takes it out of being taboo, de-shames it, and makes it part of just everything that we, you know, as human beings, a full range of experience. So, you know, if there's something you feel comfortable sharing about that and how music has helped you in that process, about, you know, feeling more comfortable with it, transforming it into something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, even the last song that I played, it's called Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And it's that very folksy Americana song. I mean, if whiskey's in any song, it's going to be either country or folk or something of that nature. And for me, that song was coming from a place of, I wasn't an alcoholic, but I was drinking my sorrows away. I was trying to get past, I was trying to drown these things out that were happening in my brain that I didn't want to confront. And they came out whether I liked it or not. And it happened to be through music. And, you know, I don't know if this phrase is connected in any ways, but like sunlight is the best disinfectant or something like that, where, you know, in it, you have to speak. That's the like millennial thing. You have to speak your truth, and it sounds so silly, but it's so important to basically, whatever is true within you, whatever is happening within you, needs to come out, and it needs to come out one way or another. Otherwise, it's going to come out in a horrible way, whether that be violence or anger or frustration with a lover or a partner, or it's going to come out in one way or another. So why not let it come out in a way, whether it be music or just talking to somebody? I think that was my biggest thing. And again, this is going away from the music and creation, but my biggest thing, and I think music was my stepping stone, was just getting these things that I was so worried about in my life out to somebody that loves me, or somebody that would listen, whether that be, for me, it was my wife and my close friends and my family. Some people might not have any of those things and just need an outlet, and they need to seek that out, because if you are keeping all that stuff inside, and this happens to be in World Prevention of Suicide Day, and those are those dark thoughts that just keep looping in your head. You're a terrible person. You've done horrible things, and we've all done horrible things. We all can be terrible people. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be here and be here with us. You need to have, your story is a testimony for everyone to hear, and you can be this living example of going from the very bottom to being alive and expressing yourself, and getting, like you said, once those dark things are out, or even if they're not dark, just things are out, then that taboo, those things that you were so scared of, the fear of letting loose, is no longer there. But it's tough to get to that point. It was really hard for me to get to that point, and music was a stepping stone, but it wasn't the full. It's just a tool. It's a tool. Yeah.
It's really interesting to hear you talk about it that way, because there's this way of like being isolated with your own experience, your own darkness, but like almost being like trapped in a bubble where you can't see out of it or get out of it somehow. And then once you break out of it, by communicating in some way, by putting it in language, in words, in art, and not living with the isolation and the shame of it, that it becomes this way in which connection becomes the sunlight that is the disinfectant of it. It becomes the way of that not being something that is toxic to our own experience and to ourselves.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that we don't become disconnected from ourselves in some way, because you're only living one part of your humanity, but it's a very painful part, and isolated from not just other people, but from other parts of yourself.
Yeah, it's a self-isolation, and that can be even worse than any prison, really. The mind is we know so little about it. But when we can express what's going on in here and in here to another person, there's this magic that happens. And I think that's, why language evolved, and why we are the animals that we are, and can do some pretty incredible things. Yeah.
So has music become a regular aspect of how you maintain your well-being, how you maintain your humanity, the full aspect of, or aspects of your humanity? And what else do you do besides music that maybe facilitates that? You mentioned something about talking with your wife, opening up to her, whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, that music is definitely, I'm making music, writing songs every day. That's kind of what I've been leaning into during this whole virus thing, and it's been horrible for so many people. But I think it also has given a lot of us like a wake up call to, like, I keep on hearing, like, put things in perspective. Like, it's putting things that are important in our lives in perspective. Because we're in this totally altering world now. It's a whole like strange new world that we're living in. And so, I've been leaning into songwriting, and that has been, like I said, like that cognitive vomit thing is, I'll be doing these. Sorry if I keep on saying the throw up thing. I hope that's not a trigger for anyone. But yeah, like our songwriting sessions, people, like I write with people in Ireland, just today with an Irish fella and a Swedish lady. And, you know, those sessions are therapy with me because we're making this beautiful music that really is coming out of nowhere, but that nowhere is ourselves. And we're making this like, you know, piece by piece, this like thing that's like within us. And that, yeah, that definitely is like a form of therapy. I come out of it like feeling like I've, you know, just unloaded a bunch of stuff off of me, because all the best songs are songs that are based in reality. So to write anything outside of that is fun, but I try. I mean, if I try, I wouldn't be able to. It's just that the best songs are based in reality. And so when I am writing, especially with these folks, it's just like they're evocative, so they bring something out of me as well. Um, but as other than music, before I moved, which I just moved a month ago, so I'm still getting my feet grounded and everything in this new area. But meditation was definitely a part of that, and I used Sam Harris's meditation app. It's like a 10-minute, really straight to the point meditation. And man, you know, I come from a Christian background, and I'm not in that anymore. But you know, I'm familiar with prayer. But prayer, you're still speaking in your head. You're still saying things. With meditation, it's a whole different world, and it's strange because when I talk about like the cognitive vomit thing again, that those words, like getting the stuff out. With meditation, it's like it's grounding me, and it's still like emptying stuff out without me having to like spew stuff out, without me having to express anything. It makes me, you know, if anyone's never tried meditation, you get to know your body, because you generally are sitting quietly. You get to know your mind goes in all these strange places, and you're kind of navigating, you're seeing where your mind goes, where it wants to distract you, or whatever. Your ego brings up these certain things, and you're able to like almost like trail them back to different aspects of your life, and really see where these thoughts are coming from to a certain degree. And for me, at least, it's allowed me to see. I've been reading a book also that talks about like sensors. Like the author talks about how there's in our mind, or we've built these sensors up that basically are saying negative things about ourselves, and we just continue to rely on them in a horrible fashion. Just be like, yeah, I am that. I'm a bad person. Yep, okay, I'm a bad person. And so with meditation, I've been able to like look at that and be like, where is that coming from? And there are certain places, but you then recognize like this fabrication is so meaningless, and I can get rid of it. I can be done with it. And that takes practice, but it's something that has come up with meditation and among other things. But yeah, it's an incredible tool that I always poo-pooed and thought it was silly spiritual stuff. And you know, I was like, I prayed before. That's the same thing. But meditation is a very, very different tool than prayer, I think.
Yeah. Well, that opportunity to have permission to feel without judgment, and to be curious, to shift it from a place of evaluation and judgment to a place of curiosity, and getting to know oneself is so powerful. And it's certainly what, in an ideal world, what any good therapy would do. A talk therapy, a meditation, some form of music. That there's a way in which it becomes this place of expansion and growth and self-understanding and connection, as opposed to smallness and disconnection and judgment.
Right. Yeah, it's yes, that is a huge thing, that we are judging our every thought and every action. And for me, for so long, it had been a negative thing. It'd been you're too lazy. You're rarely kind. You're never doing your best work. And those were the things that were always popping up in my head, especially when it came to music. And, you know, I was for so long, I think we talked a little bit about this, the imposter syndrome
Yeah.
thing. And for those who don't know it, and I won't do justice, but basically it happens, I think, with any line of work or any craft or anything that you do or you say you are. So whenever I said I was a musician, I always had like a prerequisite or something that followed me, like, or for lack of a better term, I'm a musician with quotation marks. And I play a lot of instruments poorly. That was my thing. And that's like me going to a show, playing a show or releasing an album. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I'm not a real artist. Like, I still struggle with pitch when I'm singing. I still screw up my chords when I'm picking the guitar. Like, a pro wouldn't have those issues. Like, I am not a musician. I'm not an artist because I can't even use the tools that I'm trying to convey my expression like that. But if you talk to any pro, they'll say the same thing. They'll be like, I still F up on all like my solos and all that. And like, I still go on stage with butterflies and goosebumps and like freaking out because I don't think this is where I should be, and who, like, people shouldn't be listening to me. And I think that is just like this horrible thing that we tell ourselves in whatever field we're in, is that we're not good enough to say that we're this or that. And I think that, it's back to that whole like millennial thing. It's like, we need more self-love. And another like silly catchphrase, but it's so true. And it's, you can help others even when you're hurting, but man, if you're hurting, you need to take care of yourself. You need to do something about that. Yeah. And I when I got to the brink of collapse, I fell into something that really helped me. And that's, that imposter syndrome is still there, but it's fading and surely is going away, slowly but surely. Yeah.
Yeah. That it's the antithesis of creativity, and I can only imagine that none of us would benefit from the beautiful music that even the two songs you just played, and hopefully you'll get to play two more or a couple more in just a few minutes here. But what would have happened if if those thoughts and feelings got the better of you?
Yeah.
That there was something about being able to work through that we don't even know what's possible in us, that comes from a process, comes from the creative process. It's not, there's something we have to go through, like a metamorphosis there, and an act of creativity, in order to reach the place where we're expressing and communicating and creating.
Right. Yeah, it's for me it was recognizing this cloud of depression and things that just kept on piling up in my life that I had to confront and deal with, and kept on pushing that off and distracting myself with whatever I could, whether that be drinking, smoking, or video games, or just anything to keep those thoughts away. But finally, I had I won't talk too much about it, but I had a ayahuasca ceremony, and there are a lot of different things, and it's very trendy or whatever. But for me, it was not a healing process. It was therapy. It was basically showing me what I had to do, what the steps were for me to get that cloud to dissipate. And I could have taken those. I could have said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm still going to distract myself. But I finally had the wherewithal, I had the will, the power, empowerment to finally take these steps. And it wasn't like I washed everything away. It's not like all my clouds are gone now. It was step by step by step. And they were hard steps, and they were not easy. They were not fun. And I cried a lot, and I had other people cry because of the things that I'd done and things that I had to say. And those things are the things that I kept in that had to come out. And when all that came out, and again, it's like purging, but it really was a purge of the things that had to come out. And if those things had stayed, I don't know where I would be right now. I wouldn't be in this new place in the mountains, in this beautiful place with my wife and my 2 kids. I would be living with my family, my parents, working a crappy job, one that I hated, and still holding all that in and having this separation between me and my loved ones, that I'm closing that gap in slowly but surely, where I'm feeling more connected, and it's still so hard,
Yeah,
but it
no, I
is
appreciate
absolutely
you
worth it.
sharing that.
Yeah,
It's I think it's so telling of who you are, and it's so apparent in your music too, that it's actually become the fuel, that pain has become the fuel for finding your freedom, for finding, openness in who you are and what you're capable of, more than just the pain, that
right.
it's actually been a source of fuel for you.
Yeah,
And I really appreciate you sharing that. I'm sure that is, I mean, it's important for everybody to know. So I hope that comes as solace to the people that are listening
right.
tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe, I certainly want to give you the mic if there's something else you want to share that you think is important that you haven't discussed. And maybe you could also play some more songs for us and let us
Yeah.
relish in your,
I would love that.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that I have much else to say. I'm really honored to be here, and I really appreciate our conversation, Dan. Thanks for chatting with me. I'm a
Likewise.
little upset that I don't have a PhD thing down by my. I want something down there that, like, I want a title. But
It's just 3 letters.
yeah, it's like nothing.
We're all human, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, I just wanted to do a quick shout out and thank Only Human and Sounds of
Mhm.
Saving for putting this
Thank
together
you.
and really, doing so much to promote well-being and openness, and especially in a time where there's so much chaos and conflict, and this is a huge bright spot, and hopefully an inspiration for lots of people. So thank them.
Yes, thank you
Yeah,
guys for having us and hosting this and hosting all the events that you guys are throwing together. It's been great. So
yeah. And
awesome.
thanks for your music. Really,
Thank you.
really
Thank
appreciate
you
you
for your work. I'm sure
blessing
you,
us with it
yeah,
and sharing it with us.
yeah. Sweet. Well, I'll jump right back in here. All right. Hopefully my camera doesn't shut off again. If it does, I'm just gonna play through it until the song is done. This check. This next song is called "Stolen," and it is kind of a bit of a biographical journey for me, as far as how music has played a part in my life, and um, yeah, different aspects of basically that journey with music, and how I've always been called to it in one way or another, in some sort of fashion, and that journey has not been easy, especially, not a lot of people make it in the music industry, and there are different places to do that, and I won't say that I've made it, but it is what I'm doing now, for better or for worse, and but it's been a journey, and it's been a hard one, but a very fruitful one. So yeah, this one's called "Stolen." It will be off of my next album, which will come out eventually. Virus kind of put a little bit of that on hold. But if you want to follow me on Instagram, on Spotify, Facebook, and all that, there will be a lot of updates coming soon, I'm sure. So let's just go straight ahead and go for it. And please give me some grace, as us musicians have not been able to play out a lot. So a lot of rust on these gears. But here we go. Rocking, rolling, my heart was stolen by the music and the melody, and my life is a tragedy. Should have been a doctor, could have been a lawyer. Now I can't afford either of you. Should have listened to what my mama said. Should have listened to what my daddy said, yeah. But it was the bluegrass that kicked my ass. Now all my promises in the past. Should have listened to what my mama said. Should have listened to what my daddy said. Rockin', rollin', my heart was stolen by the music and the melody. Yeah, my life is a tragedy. Took off to the pearl ditch, my whole world. Now my life is in a big old twirl. Should've listened to what my mama said. Should've listened to what my daddy said, yeah. Instead I took the good old book, stole the red letters like a crook. Should've listened to what my mama said. Should've listened to what my daddy said. Rockin', rollin', my heart was stolen by the music and the melody. And my life is a tragedy. Rockin', rollin', my heart was stolen by the music and the melody. Yeah, my life is a tragedy. And then this moment came along. I found a voice, I found a song, bound to commiserate whispers of what I love and what I hate. Rockin', rollin', my heart was stolen by the music and the melody. And my life is a tragedy. Rockin', rollin', my heart was stolen by the music and the melody. Yeah, my life is a tragedy. Thank you. That was Stolen. All right, folks, this is my last song. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for Only Human for having this and having me and for that chat with Dan. I hope some people were able to connect with that story one way or another. And again, my name is Tyler Sjostrom, coming from my studio room, my sleeping baby next door. Hopefully he's not awake. All right, this last song is called The Indian, and I wrote it many years ago. After I had, I started writing it when I was on the Indian Ocean on the western coast of Australia. I had realized that I'd seen both sides of the Indian Ocean and had to commemorate it. And it also made me think of just all the things that I'd done and all the things that I'd done alone, and then all the things that I could have only done with others, the help of others, and the family that surrounds me, that's both blood and my friends and just loved ones. So yeah, this is The Indian. Thanks for tuning in. Now I've seen both sides of the Indian, whose cream-topped waves mix and churn, the multi sands beneath them, who dance the coast till they return. And I've saved spiders from disposal, but have never heard a lick of gratitude. Turn the wine back into water, and have tasted spirits a multitude.
I've done it alone. I've done it alone. I've done it alone. I've done it alone. But I will love you till the end of time. Just give me some time. Haven't you brushed your face with strange rivers? Beautiful women braid your hair. Washed your face in strange rivers. Brush your hair with your men. Haven't you brushed shoulders with death row? Men who'll never breathe this fresh air. Wash your face in strange rivers, or let beautiful women braid your hair. I've done it alone. 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 But I will love you till the end of time. Oh yes, I will love you till the end of time. Till the end of time. Just give me some time. Oh, and if the mountains are too high, if the mountains are too high, we will hold you. We will carry you. Oh, and if the valley is too wide, if the valley is too wide, we will hold you. We will carry you. Oh, and if the river is too strong, if the river is too strong, we will hold you. We will carry you. Oh, and if the journey takes its toll, if the journey takes its toll, we will hold you. We will carry you. Thank you so much, guys. That was the Indian.
Tyler, oh my goodness. I can't even explain, like, as someone who struggles with my own mental health and the ups and downs of what being human means, and someone who misses concerts and live music tremendously, like what you just did, whew, I have goosebumps. I'm not gonna cry. No.
Nope.
Seriously though, I cannot say thank you enough for that experience and for being here and for being so open and so vulnerable with your story. Like, I really appreciate your time and your gifts.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast. It was an absolute blast and such an honor, especially on a day like this where people really need to hear good stories of people getting over hard things in their lives. And such an honor and a pleasure. And absolutely, it was such a pleasure.
Yeah, and I can't wait to have more of these. I can't wait to do more with you. You are such an incredible musician, and honestly, just knowing how much I admire you and what you do as a musician, and knowing still behind that you struggle with that imposter syndrome and that feeling of, I'm the worst and I'm not doing things right and I could be better. I think that truly is what allows other people to see the human in you. So thank you for showing us you're human and for being here today.
Absolutely. It was a blast. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, everyone. So that was the end of an incredible musical experience and mental health discussion. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Dan. I will never forget this. It is so needed right now. It's World Suicide Prevention Day, and we are here to share space, to be vulnerable, to storytell, and to share resources that can help you out in your hardest times. So if you or someone you know is struggling, please know that you are not alone, that there are resources available out there for you. You can check out our website, onlyhumanco.com/resources. We are offering a free month of online professional counseling through BetterHelp, which is just absolutely incredible. We can't thank them enough. But if you would like to experience something like this again, we will be here every Thursday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be doing a live experience like this with a mental health discussion. So until next week, bye.